It's a commonly held misconception that the Earth is a spherical object that revolves around the Sun. But the fact is, of course, that the Earth is a circular dish, and invariably, in any discussion about the shape of the Earth, the first argument used in support of its rotundity is that as ships sail out to sea, the tops of their masts are visible longer than the hull.
The fact is, of course, that the light rays from the lower part of the ship are no longer reaching the shore.
The argument, for all practical purposes, came to an end when the Church of England was established by law during the 16th century. They rejected many laws of the ancient Catholic Church, and to appear forward-thinking, they embraced many radical scientific notions prevalent at the time, including Copernicus' round Earth theory. With this endorsement, the theory found its way into the schools, which were then largely controlled by the Church. It has remained there to this day, and many children have accepted it without question.
These superficial, even, considerations show that it's impossible. The whole thing, it's a story, a fairy story made up and mindlessly repeated in textbooks.
There's all kinds of proofs right around you that show that the Earth is flat. Now, interesting things happens at the ends of the Earth. You see, when you go on a car trip from point A to point B, you're moving through what's called space. And it takes time to get through space. But if there is space, there must also be non-space. It's kind of like saying, if there's wet, there must be dry. You can't have one without the other. You're actually moving from space into non-space. Now you can move through non-space in no time. See, it takes time to move through space, but it takes no time to move through non-space. As they cross the Earth, they will then go into this non-space region. They will instantly then be able to reappear back where they started by taking a non-space route. The moon does this, the sun does this, and stars even do this at a very, very slow rate, moving from space into non-space and then reappearing back where they started from.
To us, it's all seamless. You know, we can't tell that we're going through a void. It's just a seamless transition into the next hemisphere, basically.
Because just like you don't realize from eyeball to eyeball, you know, you don't realize the seam. You don't realize I like the analogy of using dual monitors on a computer. When you're dragging an image from one computer screen to the other computer screen, and it crosses that void, and it doesn't, you know, if you were in the computer, you wouldn't know that because you're never going to get out of that vantage point. So you don't experience that void at all. It just lines up for the observer.
$1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow.
Science is never settled. I mean, if you were to talk to the average 19th century physicist 200-300 years after Newton and all that, it seemed that physics was done. In fact, physics was a closed book. In fact, why would anyone go into physics?
Yeah.
And then Einstein comes along with relativity, and then Planck, actually coming out to him, comes on with quantum mechanics, and suddenly we realize that everything we thought we knew was it wasn't wrong, it just was insufficient to explain. And once you go fast enough, I'm talking about the speed of light now, suddenly Newtonian physics doesn't make sense. So the science is never settled, it can't be settled. And if 19th century physics could be wrong, then anything can be wrong.